Hi everyone. So Nick here. I want to do a love chat that's kind of a little bit different formatting than some of the other ones that I've done before. I normally have tea. I actually do have tea. I have some kombucha, which is fermented tea. It's hot. I am 100% full on pitta. So I am drinking cold instead of hot tea because it's hot. It's summer. So sip on some tea and have a really honest conversation here. We're going to talk about the realities and the struggles that people have when it comes from the harsh reality of that we are a product of our environment. And it's something that needs to be talked about on this forum. I think this is a perfect forum to talk about it from my unique perspective, and maybe it'll help to start this conversation a little bit more. So I'm gonna take a sip and we'll start talking more about it. So I have been studying at the Integrative Nutrition School, IIN to be exact, for the past year or so. And one of the things that keeps coming up for me is how we are a product of our environment. And here's the reality of this. This is the real love chat session. Like, let's get real here. As a person of color, a minority, I 100% understand the struggle from a dietary standpoint. This is going to be from a dietary standpoint. The other little areas, whew. So from a dietary standpoint, we are a product of our environment, and as a minority, that is so hard and difficult. And here is the reason why. So I live in the suburbs in Atlanta, and the area that I live is like upper middle class. And what has happened in the city of Atlanta is a lot of the areas have become regentrified. Through this regentrification, what happens is people that were lower income that lived in those areas that they're regentrified get pushed out because they can't afford the cost of living to live in these newer areas that have a lot more amenities and what have you, which is why the cost of living goes up. Okay, so where do these people go? What's happening is they're being pushed out into the suburbs. And honestly, most of the people in these areas are minorities, are blacks or brown people or whatever, people of color of some sort. And one of the areas that's closer to downtown Atlanta area is where I'm living. And so where I'm living now, I'm starting to see a shift in terms of the way people live. It's a thing that I think a lot of non-minority people don't quite understand, that reality, that experience. And I think because my family has all types of socioeconomic connections of some sort, I have a better understanding of different people's experiences and And I 100% understand that you can only understand the experience that you have experienced, the perspectives that you are able to see. And some people just honestly, they just don't know. They don't know that this is a reality for other people because they're assuming everyone has the same access to the things that they have access to, that their world is the same as theirs. So, as I was saying, they've started to come into where I'm living. And so where I was living, we had it's like I said before, it's upper middle class type of living. And now I'm starting to see that the access in our grocery stores has shifted in a way where I can't get the high quality or the diverse produce and just different products. My access has changed. It has changed to really poor, crappy food options. It's starting to shift towards that. So what's happening is the people that are used to living upper middle class, we're kind of being pushed out to move and leave the area. So a lot of those people are leaving this area and the area is slowly shifting. But here's the thing that really breaks my heart. It's not that I don't mind living with people who may have different expectations, but everyone should have the same access to healthy fruits and vegetable and foods. But they don't. And this is a huge problem. That's why you have such big segments in the population where seemingly people think, oh, they don't care about eating healthy or what have you. And it's not that they don't care, it's just a lot of people are honestly in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, you just don't really care that you don't have access to kale in your grocery store. So what do I have access to? We'll just make it work with what I have. And that's how people are operating. And it's not fair. And a lot of people don't really realize that their reality could be different because this is all that they have been exposed to. This is all that they know. Or they honestly have so many other life stressors that their diet is not that big of a focus for them right now. So what I'm having to do, which highlights another issue in terms of access, what I'm having to do right now is I'm having to travel more outside of my area to get the food that I know is healthy and good for me in order to eat. So again, another issue, lack of access. You have to have a car to travel. It's costing me more money to go and buy organic kale because they don't have it in the store anymore. They're using that space for prepackaged stuff now. But people aren't gonna travel, or maybe they don't have the means to get in the car and travel an additional 15 or 20 miles. And in the city, it can take you to go 8 miles. Sometimes it can take you 20 to 30, sometimes 45 minutes to get there. And some people just don't have the time or the energy to travel just to go and get these healthy organic kale. So what's my point? Why am I doing this video? You know, it's supposed to be a love chat that's inspiring and uplifting. I know they typically are, but this love chat is inspiring and uplifting because I wanted to highlight the simple fact that access is not the same in every community. It's not. And as a holistic esthetician and integrative nutrition practitioner, that's my new role. I see it, and it's really hard for me not to talk about that fact, to not acknowledge that fact. And I don't know that everyone realizes that this is something that people are dealing with. And for me, it's hard to see because it's a lot of the people that are part of my community or that are part of my ethnic group. That it affects them in a way that it negatively impacts their life expectancy. It negatively impacts their will to want to thrive and not survive anymore. So that's why I want to sit here today and do this video to acknowledge or to highlight that this is a reality for a large group of people. And I'm going to do my best to help in the ways that I can. But it starts with acknowledging that this is an issue, because I also realize that a lot of people have no idea. I know this may seem like, oh my God, like what is she talking about? I know some people won't care. I'm doing this for the people that do care. I'm doing this to acknowledge that I understand your struggle. For those of you that want to eat kale, that don't have access to it, and you're doing the best that you can do based on the environment that you have someone here that sees it, that acknowledges your struggle. I see it, I acknowledge it. But I'm also about making the best of your situation to move more so in towards the thriving mode. Focus on the good things that you do have access to, because there are good things that you have access to. Limit the amount of processed food that you eat. Maybe you can start your own garden. That's what I've done. I've started my own garden in my neighborhood. Start writing letters to your grocery stores, these major chains. You can go 10 miles down the road and they have a fully stocked produce section where the fruits and the vegetables look that you want to buy them. And in your store, they look like crap. They look like they just, like it's the leftovers. That's not acceptable. So you have the power to make changes, and it starts by using the voice that you have where you are to change the how and the whys. You are the product of your environment. It is frustrating. I get it. Trust me, I am in frustration mode right now because it's really frustrating that we don't have the same access to healthy things because they don't feel like we deserve it or that we will buy it. And in many ways, maybe we need to reteach them that what they think is not right. That just because, we're buying this, doesn't mean that we don't want more than what you're giving us. But it starts by us using our own voice. So that's my love chat for the day. And I hope you are having an amazing day today, and try to make the best of your environment, because you are a product of your environment. You are. But here's the thing. We can change the realities of what are in our environment. Sometimes we have to move ourselves out of the environment into a better, well-suited environment. But in the meantime, what can you do on your part to make a shift more towards it being a positive, healthy, conducive environment, more towards thriving and not just surviving. We got to get back to having these honest conversations about experiences. And just because something is an experience that you don't understand or that you can't relate to doesn't make it less of an experience that another human being is having to deal with. And we just need more compassion outside of our ability to understand something that we can't relate to. Just because we can't relate to something does not mean that you don't have other people who are impacted in some way by their experience that is outside of our own scope of understanding. That's why I sat down here today to do this video as well, to connect with the people that may not even understand what the hell I'm talking about in some capacity. So I just really hope that this touches people in a loving way. All my content is 100% coming from a place of love and nothing more, nothing less than that. Maybe more, but nothing less than that. What do I want you to comment down below? I want to know, what is one of your favorite things about the environment that you live, where you live? What's one thing that you just love about where you live? So I'm going to share what mine is down below. If you want to see more of me, then hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, because that's the best way that you can see more of me. So bye. See you guys on another video really soon.